Managing domains in Plesk. This tutorial will show you how to manage domains in Plesk. For this demonstration, we logged into Plesk as the admin user. If you're logging in as a client or domain administrator, the navigation will differ slightly and some of the options will not be available in your control panel. Whenever possible, we will note the differences in access levels in this tutorial. Click the Domains link. First, let's add a domain template. Domain templates are a group of settings that can be applied to the domains you add so that you don't have to individually adjust all of the settings when adding new domains. Click the Domain Templates icon. Under a client's panel, the Domain Templates icon is located in the main menu accessed by clicking the Home link in the navigation panel on the left. Under a client's panel, the domains owned by that client will also be listed at the bottom of the main menu and can be accessed by clicking the domain name. Click the Add New Domain Template icon. Enter the template name. Select the webmail engine. Horde comes installed with Plesk by default. Others may need to be installed before they can be used for webmail. Enter the limits you want to have set for the domain when you select the template. If adding a domain template as a client, only values allowed by that client's limits set by the admin will be available. For more information about setting client limits, refer to the tutorial Managing Clients in Plesk. Click the Physical Hosting checkbox. Uncheck the Unlimited checkbox. Enter a value in megabytes for the hard disk quota. The hard disk quota is the amount of disk space allotted for the domain. This quota applies to all services. Select the other options and services you want to enable. Since ColdFusion and Miva are not installed by default in Plesk, we will be disabling support for these services. Click the OK button. Next, let's edit the template and increase the disk quota. Click the name of the template. Scroll down. Enter the new hard disk quota. Click the OK button. Next, before we add a domain, let's briefly discuss the skeleton for the directory structure that will be applied. Click the server link. Click the skeleton icon. The skeleton icon is also located in the main menu under the Clients panel. The document root for a domain on a Plesk server is the HTTP docs directory. Click the HTTP docs link. If you want to change the default directory structure to include specific files and/or directories, create a zip archive of the structure on your local machine. Then, click the Browse button and select the file. Then, click the Send File button to upload the archive. Plesk will use the archive to create a custom skeleton to use instead of the default directory structure. Click the Default button to restore the default structure to the skeleton. Click the Domains link. The domains owned by each client will be listed at the bottom of the main menu in their panel. Now let's add a domain. The Add New Domain icon will also be in the main menu of the Clients panel. Click the Add New Domain icon. Click the appropriate radio button to select a client. Clients will not see this screen when adding a domain, as Plesk assumes they will be adding the domain to their client account. Click the OK button. Enter the domain name. Select a template. Select an IP address. Click the OK button. Enter the FTP Microsoft front page login. Enter the new FTP Microsoft front page password. Enter the confirm password. This option will allow access to the system via remote desktop for the user outside of Plesk. This is not recommended unless absolutely necessary, as it is a security risk to grant access to this system. Click the OK button. This is the main menu for managing the domain. Next, let's grant access to Plesk for a domain administrator. Click the Domain Administrator icon. Click the Allow Domain Administrator Access checkbox. Enter a new password. Enter the confirm password. Select the permissions you want to have granted to the domain administrator. For this demonstration, we will select all of them. Enter the personal name. Enter the company name. Enter the domain administrator's email address. Click the OK button. Let's hide the navigation panel and take a look at the options. From here, we could suspend the domain, or generate a report, or change the domain name, or adjust the limits, or alias other domains to this one, or generate a backup of the domain. We can also administer mail, DNS, databases, and SSL certificates. Here are the other options that pertain to hosting for the domain. At the bottom is more information about how the hosting for this domain is being utilized. Let's go back to the Domains menu. Click the Domains link. To make changes to multiple domains at one time, click the checkboxes for the domains to edit and use the Group Operations link to select and apply the changes, or use the Change Owner link to move them to a different client. Now let's add one without using a template to look at a couple of other options. Click the Add New Domain icon. Click the appropriate radio button to select a client. Click the OK button. Enter the domain name. Select Create Domain Without Template from the menu. Click the OK button. This option can be used to redirect web requests to a different URL hosted somewhere else. This option will also redirect web requests elsewhere, but the URL will not change. If the site you're planning to frame forward to is hosted on this server, the same effect can be accomplished much easier by adding the new domain as a domain alias to the existing one. For more information about domain aliases, refer to the tutorial Managing Domain Aliases in Plesk. Click the OK button. Enter the destination URL. Click the OK button. Forwarded and frame forward domains still host other services on this account and can be configured here. Click the Setup icon. Here we can change the IP address or the destination URL. Click the domains link. Now let's delete the domains. Click the checkboxes to select the domains. Click the Remove Selected link. Removing a domain removes the user, the settings, and all the files associated with the domain permanently from the server, which cannot be retrieved or restored unless there is a pre-existing backup. It is recommended that you proceed with caution when removing domains to make sure you do not accidentally remove something unintentionally. Click the Confirm Removal checkbox. Click the OK button. Next, let's look at the summary report for the server. Click the Summary Report icon. This is a breakdown by client and domain of how the hosting is being utilized. Let's go back and look at the traffic. Click the Domains link. Click the Traffic icon. We can select the month to report the results from. Now let's look at one individual domain. Click the domain name. Plesk shows us the traffic by type. Congratulations! You now know how to manage domains in Plesk.